Hey guys, I just want to talk about Civil War. I know I'm like really late, but I just wanted to get my thoughts out there. I don't want to be too lengthy about this, but I'm probably gonna end up this video. I can say that, but this video is gonna be like fucking 30 minutes long. I already know it, at least 30 minutes long. But I just want to talk about my general thoughts. I want to talk about some of the stuff a little bit more in depth, but I kind of don't want to. If I sit here and I try to blow it out of proportion, it's gonna be this video is gonna be long, and I'm gonna ramble, and I don't want to do that because it makes me feel bad. But so Civil War is about Captain America and the rest of the whole Avengers team, the new Avengers that were set up at the end of Age of Ultron, and how the government is deciding enough's enough. We gotta, you guys, like, we love you guys. You guys have saved us more times than we can count. We're in debt to you guys, but Jesus Christ, guys, you fucking just destroyed a city, and you've done all this stuff. And we as much as, yes, you have saved lives, we gotta put a limit on this. We can't just let you guys do this because you guys are doing crazy fucking shit. And I don't want to be like I'm being very general about this, but. You guys know what happens in this movie. They come to blows. Not everybody agrees, and at some point, the ideologies just you can't talk about it anymore. You got to fight, and they all fight. So this is a movie. I held this off. I put this off for a while. For a couple reasons. One, I was playing Uncharted 4, which I will get to reviewing, and also. It's a hard movie to talk about because of the fact, Batman vs Superman was an easy video to make because there's a lot to talk about. It's a long movie that I find it easier to talk about movies that I have problems with more. When it's a movie that I like, sometimes I feel like it's hard to make a review of it rather than just a gushing session. So I put this off to try to get the film to settle, to not be like just thinking about all the great things in it, to think more critically, to think more, not with more with a critical brain and less with a holy shit, oh my god, I just saw Spider-Man holding Captain America's shield and Ant-Man on an arrow flying across and landing on Iron Man's arm, and holy shit, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm trying to be a little bit more composed, and if I had reviewed that movie that week or that weekend or last week, I probably would have just my mind would have exploded. If you can't tell, I fucking love this movie. I am so stunned by it. And disregarding the whole comic book aspect, because I can't believe I have to say this, but I have not read Civil War. I have it literally right over there. I started it before the movie. I wanted to review it so I can give you compare and contrast. I know the basics of the story. It's just that I haven't sat down and really read it. I know what happens, I understand what happens, and I understand the point of it. I just wanted to read it for myself. But I'm not going to compare and contrast from the comics as much as most people are because I only know so much. So I'm not going to mess around with that too much. I haven't read the comic that much, so I can't come at this from a comic book aspect, and I have to disregard a lot of the comic book aspect right now because... from a filmmaking standpoint, from a script standpoint, this movie is outstanding. It's the best of the MCU in my opinion. It's better than any of the Avengers movies. Either of the Avengers movies is better than any of the standalones that have come before it. It's just simply remarkable. It's fantastic. Now. The performances in the film, the two of these performances are the two of the best performances in any comic book movie ever, and that is Chris Evans and Tony Stark. Chris Evans as Captain America has gone through a journey through these last three movies, the three movies including Captain America: Civil War, not including the Avengers, which obviously are a part of that, but. More specifically, the three Captain America movies, where he's gone from being a Boy Scout who follows orders and does everything that he's told to do, he just wants to help his country, to questioning those orders in Winter Soldier and being confused and feeling like maybe he's doing the wrong things. He doesn't know. Maybe he's not. He's following the orders that he's given, but maybe those orders are orders he should not follow. Maybe he shouldn't agree with those kind of things. And then after, Shield's revealed to be Hydra, then that just magnifies that. And then Civil War, where he's kind of like, the government's saying, yo, you guys need to be put in check. And he's like, fuck you guys. You guys need to be put in check too, because fuck you guys. I don't know how many of you are Hydra or whatever. Like, he doesn't trust the government. And in the MCU, I don't blame him for some of the shit that has happened. But and that comes across really well because Chris Evans plays that so well. He plays it straight. He takes this seriously. He's a comic book movie actor who takes the source material and the material he's reading, the script, the characters, everything seriously, and that's the best part about it. He isn't like, oh, it's just a comic book movie. He takes this character seriously. He takes this character as his own, and he clearly enjoys being Captain America, and he's so good in the role, and he's so good in this movie because he has to play so many different things because he's. Yeah, there's a lot of action, there's like comedy, and there's fun. But there's also like these dramatic portions that are so heartbreaking. And him paired with Robert Downey Jr. are just fantastic in them. And it really comes across when he's playing off of other people. Or in the scene with Peggy Carter's funeral, where, I mean, like, he has a quiet scene with, I think it was with Scarlett Johansson, where he's saying, well, what are you doing here? And she's like, I didn't want you to be alone. And it's just like, oh, God. And the way he plays after that, the way he reacts to that is, he's so good. Chris Evans has come so far since Cellular and the Fantastic Four movies. He has come so far. He is so good. He has evolved as an actor, and he is so good in this movie. And Robert Downey Jr., I'm not a huge Iron Man fan in these movies. That doesn't mean I don't like the character. I love the character. He's good. It's just that I've always been more of a fan of Cap, and I think that Iron Man, while I understand he's supposed to be a rich douchebag, he sometimes gets on my nerves as a rich douchebag who is constantly making jokes, and it's annoying. But when he gets down to being a human being and being dramatic, like in Iron Man 3, or in some of the moments in Avengers 2, and definitely in this movie, he becomes a human being. And this is my favorite movie that has Iron Man in it, because he's actually human. He makes jokes, he does, but they keep the jokes are grounded. They're not like everywhere. They're not in your face. Like Avengers Age of Ultron had a problem with their jokes because they didn't understand that just because something dark happens doesn't mean you need a joke. Doesn't mean you need to throw a joke in there to just release all tension. In this movie, the writers of Winter Soldier and they wrote all 3 Captain America movies. They understand humor. They understand where it fits, they understand when it's appropriate, and they understand where to not even include it at all. Because a lot of the scenes in this movie that I like Tony Stark in the most, is when he's being a normal person. He's being a human being who reacts to things, who has a conscience, who feels bad for some of the shit he's done, and somebody who lost his parents, and in that last in the revelations towards the end of the film where you find out Bucky killed his parents, he reacts in a way that I'm not surprised by. Like, he should be reacting that way. I understand why he reacts that way from like the audience perspective. In hindsight, yeah, Bucky didn't know he was killing his parents. He didn't understand that he was brainwashed. He didn't mean to do it. He was a victim. But when you're Tony Stark and you're watching that video, it's your dad and your mom who's being murdered. Logic doesn't come into that, and he snaps, and it's such a well done scene. It's such an emotional scene, and Robert Downey Jr. really sinks his teeth into it, and that's Robert Downey Jr. is a fucking phenomenal actor, and he really shines in this movie, and that's what I love about it so much is he just shines in this movie as Just he plays Tony Stark as a human being finally, as a person who's not just there to make jokes and to be the rich guy who's an asshole. He's a deep character in this movie. He's not. It's not to say he hasn't been deeper before. It's not. I'm not saying he's completely one dimensional in all these movies. He's not. But I think he's more appealing in this movie than he has been in most of those movies. That being said, like those two are the best, are the standout performances in the movie. But everybody in this movie, every single person who was in this movie, whether it's Elizabeth Olsen as Scarlet Witch, or Paul Bettany as Vision, or Don Cheadle as War Machine, or Anthony Mackie as Falcon, or Tom Holland as Spider-Man, or Chadwick Boseman as fucking Black Panther. Oh my god, it is so good. Everybody is fucking great in this movie. And some of the smaller characters, not including the big two, who are obviously Cap and Iron Man, the standouts are Black Panther is fucking great. And this is from somebody who knows nothing about Black Panther. Virtually nothing. I know some basic things, but I know nothing about him as like I haven't read any of his comics. I just know like his origin and stuff. That's all I know. And I know some of the stuff about him, like how like he's worth a lot. He's the king of the country, like all that stuff, all like awesome stuff. After watching this movie, I'm definitely going to read Black Panther now. I've never read Black Panther in my entire life, but watching this movie made me want to read Black Panther because he seems like such a fucking awesome character. Because he's a king. He could be a tyrant if he was really that kind of a character. He could be a tyrant, but he is a fair ruler. You can tell because of the way he's composed and the way he acts. He is somebody who he's got such a nobility about him, and that's why I like him so much. And he also, while throughout the entire movie, the crux of him getting into this entire fight is based upon the death of his father, T'Chaka. Who is believed to be killed by Bucky. Was not Bucky, but he doesn't know that. And it's all about revenge. He's trying to get revenge on... It's revenge, but it's not a wild revenge. He's not throwing... he's not being careless. He's going straight for Bucky and no one else. He's not trying to cause collateral damage. He's going for what he's going for. He's going for he believes it's justice, not revenge. He's going for justice. And the way he goes about it, I think, is really well done. And the way that it culminates in towards the end where he finds out it's not Bucky. And it's actually Zemo. And he spares Zemo. Where it seems like there's been enough bloodshed today. Like, oh my... Like... Chadwick Boseman nails it. He's so fucking good in this movie. I want to talk about other standouts. And I'm going to save one for later. We all know which one that one is, but I will be saving it for later. Ant-Man. Paul Rudd is Ant-Man. Not in the movie very much. He's not in the movie very much. But he makes the most of his screen time. And he is so good in this movie. I love it. Ant-Man was one of my favorite movies of last year. Ant-Man is one of my favorite comic book movies ever made. I love Ant-Man. And Paul Rudd's great. And he's so good in this movie. And he does Giant Man, which is one of the coolest scenes in the movie, which leads to some of the best quips of the movie. Some of them by the guy I'm saving for later. Some great shit in that movie, and he's so funny. And there's a shot. He's on the arrow, Hawkeye's arrow, and I'm like, that is right from the fucking comics, guys, and that's so cool. There's some great scenes he has with like Iron Man, where he's like where Iron Man's like, who's talking? He's like, it's your conscience. I've been gone for a while. It's like, oh, it's so fucking good. I love Hawkeye in this. He's also barely in it, but Hawkeye is my favorite. Is my favorite like side Avenger. Sorry, dog. My dog just saw a bunny outside to start barking, so I had to stop the video. Yeah, Hawkeye is my favorite side Avenger, and he has some great stuff in this movie involving him and Vision and Scarlet Witch, and him and Black Widow during a fight. and some really great stuff there. I just Vision's great in this movie. He's got some great scenes like walking through the wall and that kind of stuff. He's got some great stuff in this movie. Him wearing a fucking sweater. Him wearing the why did he walk into the Avengers mansion and he's wearing a fucking sweater and it's fucking awesome. Yeah, there's some great fucking shit and like the whole opening scene with crossbones. Okay, crossbows. Yeah, it's definitely crossbows. Crossbones. It's great. The action scene is great. And it has some great character moments between like Cap and Falcon, and the way Cap and Scarlet Witch work together was pretty cool, and the fight itself was just really cool. But not a fan of some of the stuff that the way that they end the fight. But yeah, that stuff's great. And the one I'm trying not to get to already, but I'm gonna just get to him now before I explode, is Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Now, going into this movie, Andrew Garfield was my favorite Spider-Man. Is my favorite Spider-Man. And Tobey Maguire was my second favorite because I like the trilogy, the original trilogy of Spider-Man movies, but Andrew Garfield's better in my opinion. He was fantastic. He is to me Spider-Man as Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man to people. Andrew Garfield is just perfect. Enter Tom Holland. When he was casted, I didn't see it. I'm sorry, I didn't see it. I knew he was talented. I knew he was a really good actor. It's just that when I looked at him, I'm like, he doesn't look like Spider-Man to me. I don't see it. But when they flashed out on that screen, Queens, I got excited. Disregarding the fact that trailer with Spider-Man in it fucking made me out of my mind. Just the costume, but seeing Queens, I'm like, oh, I know where we're going with this. So I'm like, yeah, Spider-Man. Let's see what's going on with Peter Parker. And I was surprised. I really liked what I saw. A lot of people are saying he's the best Spider-Man we've ever had, and best Peter Parker we've ever had. I can't go there yet because we've seen two scenes. And the scene with him as Peter Parker was relatively short. And the scene of him as Spider-Man, yeah, it's great, but he's also playing off of other superheroes, and it's a largely CGI character. That's not to take away from the fact that it's fucking great. I'm just saying that, like, I can't say he's the best until I get more. I need a bigger sample size, because the two scenes, while yes, the Spider-Man scene was a long scene, it was like a 20-minute scene, not all of it was spent on him. And yes, I loved what I saw, but I think there's like comparing him to Tobey and comparing him to Andrew is not fair because we had 2 movies with Andrew and 3 movies with Tobey, whereas we've gotten 2 scenes with Holland, and I need to see more before I can say, is he better than Garfield? I don't know. Do I think he's got every chance of being better than Garfield? Fuck yeah, he does. He's awesome, and his suit is better than Garfield's. And I think that the Amazing Spider-Man 2 costume is awesome. But this costume is awesome. It's perfect. And yes, I'm excited. I'm way more excited to see Homecoming than I've ever been. And that's not to say I was always excited to see it, but I'm super fucking stoked to see Homecoming now because he's awesome in this movie. He's got some great fucking scenes. Ones like the whole scene with just the whole fucking airport action scene is great. But his moments in an action scene where he's fighting Winter Soldier and Falcon, and scenes where he's fighting when he's fighting Cap, especially I think that's my favorite fight that he had was him versus Cap, where he's fighting Captain America. He said, I was told to go for your legs and stuff like that, and how Cap knocks down the boarding trailer or whatever, and he catches it and he says, "Where are you from?" He's like, "You got heart, kid. Where are you from?" And he's like, "Queens." And he's like, Brooklyn. I'm like, that's fucking great. That's awesome. He is great in this movie. They use him really well. I think he's definitely like shoved into the movie. Like when you're watching the movie, I didn't notice it when I was watching the movie. When I was watching the movie, I'm like, yeah, it's Spider-Man. Fuck yeah, let's go. Because I was just excited to see him. But when, like, in retrospect, if you really think about it, it's like, oh, so you know a guy. Yeah, like, come on. It's so obvious. It's obvious that they were told. Kevin Feige just walked in and said, "Hey guys, by the way, I know you're done with the script, but yeah, shove Spider-Man in there. We just got him back, back." But yeah, I could tell, like, when you think about it afterwards, yeah, they definitely shoved him into the movie. But and this movie could have been perfectly, it would have been fine without him. But having Spider-Man in there was awesome because he was, it's the first time I've ever seen Spider-Man swing with the Avengers in a movie. So I was pretty excited about that. But it's very evident that the script was finished, and then Kevin Feige scored that deal and said, "Hey guys, by the way, we got Spider-Man back, so find a way to shove him in there." And it's not a problem. I'm not pissed, but it's definitely obvious. But I'm not pissed. I'm glad that he's in the movie. I want to talk about Zemo because I'm not a huge fan of Zemo in the movie. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, he succeeded where most Avengers villains haven't. And I get that. That's fine. The problem is that a lot of his plan relied on luck. A lot of and not like luck is fine. I don't like luck is a thing. It's just like oh, I got lucky. This happened and this happened, but this could have happened, but it didn't because I got lucky. Well, the problem is there's a lot of luck. A lot of this is just pure fucking luck. And the end of the movie, especially, just the fact that he made that. What would happen if Tony Stark didn't believe, and it didn't go to fucking the raft or the rift or whatever it's called? What would happen if he didn't show up there? Oh, Captain Bucky walk in, and they're looking at everything. Zemo's just sitting there, like, "Where's Iron Man? Not coming? Fuck. What then? Like that whole end scene wouldn't have happened." And while that's not the whole purpose of the film, obviously, that's a big thing. A part of his plan was to split them. Because, you could fracture the Avengers, they could fight. But, if you don't split Tony and Iron Man fully, then the Avengers will just rebuild. They managed to split Tony and Iron Man, who are the figureheads of the Avengers. That's the way they split them, is by him finding out that, Tony knew that Bucky had killed Iron Man's parents, Tony's mom and dad, and that's what fractures them completely. Because they could have repaired this whole thing before that. They could have repaired the whole Civil War aspect. But the problem is that they moved on to that final action scene where they're fighting, where Tony, Bucky, and Cap are fighting, and that whole scene is meant to, finish the Avengers, to split them completely. And that scene could easily have not happened if it weren't for writer's luck. Because the only reason that happened is because the writers wrote that it would happen. It's very contrived, in a way. I'm not complaining that it happened. I'm just saying, he's not an amazing villain because him completely splitting the Avengers. I mean, obviously, he fractured them to a point. But that whole final split would not have happened if it weren't for luck. And I'm fine with luck in movies. I get it, but it just felt like they had to write a way for it to fuck up. They had to write a way for them to split. And they just wrote it in there, even if it's just they're lucky that happened, or else Zemo would have failed. So I stronger villain than Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman. Not going to deny that. But that's not saying much. But he's one of the stronger MCU villains. That's also not saying much. But I don't get behind him as a strong. The only the only reason he broke the Avengers is because he got lucky. He got lucky that that Iron Man decided to come, or decided that maybe Cap was right, or figured something out. This is a lot of luck, and maybe I missed something in the movie. Maybe I missed something because I only saw it once. I've only seen it once so far because I just haven't been able to get to the theater to see it again. I want to see it again, but I haven't gotten there yet. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's something in there I missed. Maybe there's a huge thing in there that I just wasn't paying attention to because I was geeking out. But to me, it's like if your villain's plan hinges completely on luck, he's not that great of a villain. Because they should have this planned out step for step for step for step with a way to guarantee this will happen, this will happen, this will happen, this will happen. I don't think this was guaranteed to happen. It was only guaranteed because the writers wrote it to happen. I think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. I hope I missed something. I don't want to say that the villain sucked. Well, the villain doesn't suck, but it's just it's not a villain. Again, this is actually a movie that didn't need a villain. It could have just done just fine on Captain America fighting Iron Man and the whole rift that's going to be caused between that. But I get why they put the villain in there. Didn't need to be there. Was the villain awful? Not really. I just don't think he was particularly... He wasn't amazing. So, it's just another MCU villain. I've never seen a truly horrifically bad MCU villain, except for Whiplash. That's pretty bad. And I think of the ones that are not like Loki, I think he's probably one of the better. Zemo's probably one of the better ones, but it's like Loki, Red Skull, Zemo. I think Loki's the best. I think Red Skull's the second best. I think Zemo's he's fine. It's just I think he was unnecessary, and B his plan was completely. Part of it was planned out, part of it was good, but part of it was completely luck, and that's where I kind of was like, okay, well, whatever, okay, whatever. But that doesn't change the fact that whole last scene is just astonishing. It's if you want to talk about where the performances from our Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans really come into play, it's that last scene. They're just wow, holy shit. Especially Robert Downey Jr. He is so real in that last scene, and he's so raw, and he's so human, and that's why I liked it. So that was really good. Now getting on to like some of the more weighty topics of the film. The ideologies. I'm Team Cap. I was Team Cap from the beginning. I never, ever, before I saw the movie, I never thought, I was like, yeah, there's no fucking way I'm ever going to be Team Iron Man. There's no way. Because, literally, he was involved with like, 2 out of the 3 things prior to the big thing with Crossbones. He was involved with 2 out of those 3 things. One of them he was very involved in. He wasn't a problem in the first Avengers, and I think that putting the first Avengers movie in there as a reason why they need the Sokovia Accords is bullshit, because they have no right to. It's not their fault. But with Winter Soldier, I can see it because 3 aircraft carriers. Again, you really think about it, though, that's the government's fault. But the actual helicarriers were set up in a way where you can't get them out of the sky without shooting them down. And the person who designed the helicarriers and the repulsor technology that was used to keep them in the air, guess who? Tony fucking Stark. So yeah, he's not Hydra, obviously, but he's definitely not helping. He made it to a point where he had to blow them out of the sky. The one that's really egregious, though, is Ultron. The Sokovia Accords would not exist. Would not exist. They just wouldn't. They would never have materialized. At least not in that form. If Tony had not made Ultron, the entirety of Age of Ultron is Tony's fault. Tony made Ultron because he's a fucking idiot. And I get it. He wants to put a suit to put the Avengers out of to put them in retirement and have them not have to be there. I get it. I understand. I understand what he was trying to do, but he didn't think before he did. Like, he didn't think. Maybe you can't fucking control this thing. Like you're basically taking an Infinity Stone, which I believe they took it from this Infinity Stone, and they made an artificial intelligence from it. It's an Infinity. I don't even know it was an Infinity Stone, but it's an Infinity Stone. What makes you think you can control that? A fucking arrogant prick does. That's Tony Stark. He's arrogant, and he thinks he can just control it. And then we have Ultron, and he wants to say we need to be put in check. Fuck you, Iron Man. You need to be put in check. Fuck you. Come on. You created Ultron, and you're saying we need to be put in check. Fuck that. It's his fault. It's all his fault. Now, I will not say Lagos is not Iron Man's fault, but the Winter Soldier is partial. It's not his fault, but by something he designed the things he didn't know. I understand, but he still had a hand in creating something that caused Cap to have to take the measures he did. But Ultron is all his fault. There is no excuse for that. And I wouldn't have such a problem. I know he takes it on himself in this movie. I understand that. He takes it on himself. He's like, I created Ultron. I fucked up. But then he says, we need to be put in check. No, Iron Man, you fucked up. You're the one who created Ultron. You're the one who should be put in check. The Avengers had to clean up your mess. Had to help clean up your mess. That is the reason. That's one of the things that Iron Man has done. Like in this movie, consistently, it's never I understand he took it on himself, but then he kind of he takes it on himself, but he kind of still blames everybody else. And it's like, can you not? Seriously, fuck you. And I know maybe I'm being a little harsh, but come on, you can't sit there and say, well, you could have looked at it this way, where I can't even make up an example for that because I don't see it. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't get it. But to me, it doesn't make sense that you could possibly think this is the Avengers' fault. It's not. It's Tony's. Tony created Ultron. Tony didn't have to create Ultron, and he created Ultron selfishly. In a way. Also, I don't understand what made him think that was a good idea. Has he not seen Terminator? Does Terminator not exist in the MCU? I don't get it. But it's just it doesn't seem like it seems like the Avengers are being blamed for Tony's dumb fucking decisions. I'm not defending Lagos. And I'm not defending, any of that stuff. But Sokovia is all Tony's fault. Because, one thing led to another. But he's the one who created Ultron. He didn't have to do that. And I understand he was trying to retire. He wanted to he wanted to make the world safe. I understand that his intentions were noble. But he didn't think. He didn't think about it. He also didn't consult the team, which he should have done. He shouldn't have just gone and done it. And now they're all getting flack for it. That's the problem. Is that he didn't consult the team. The team didn't know he was making Ultron. They had no idea. The only one who knew was Bruce Banner. Cap didn't know. Hawkeye didn't know. Black Widow didn't know. None of them knew. I don't even think War Machine probably didn't even know. Falcon didn't even know. I know they weren't Avengers yet, but they didn't know. And they're all getting flack for it. I think that's ridiculous. I think that's stupid. Now, that's not the writer's problem. I think that you could write this movie. That makes sense because, it seems like it's the Avengers, but it's really Tony. And that's just how I see it. But it's really Tony. Tony is the one who really causes the problems, I think. While I understand his point of view, I understand their side's point of view, I think it's misguided because the majority of the problems that have been caused that have led to the Sokovia Accord are Tony's. So that's completely aside. I know people are going to completely disagree with me on that, but that completely aside, that does not change the fact that I love this movie. I think this movie is fantastic. I haven't even touched on the action. The action in this film is fucking great. Some of it's a little shaky, and I did see like towards the beginning, especially, and the fight where Winter Soldier's breaking out of the thing. I don't remember what it's called, what the acronym is, but the prison that they have after. I think it's after the chase with Black Panther. It might not be, but yes, it is. Right after the chase with Black Panther, and when he breaks out of that after Zemo triggers him, that fight scene is a little shaky, and a little bit of it. There's a little bit of quick cut editing in there, and I wasn't a very big fan of that. I make huge. I don't think I've bitched about it on this channel very much, but I hate shaky cam, and I hate quick editing style for action. I fucking cannot stand it. And there's a little bit of that in this movie. There's not that much. I can see what's going on, and usually the cuts, while they're quick, you can see the impact, and it's not like like Taken where it's like punch before it even connects, cut over here, throws a punch, cut over here. Like it's ridiculous and Taken. It's not like that. It's nothing like that. And it's very, very minimal, but it's definitely there. I noticed it a couple times, but otherwise, like the action with the Cap versus Iron Man fight is crazy. The whole entire fucking fight with the airport fight scene is fantastic, and it's perfectly shot, well staged, well choreographed. There's barely any cuts, not like overuse of cuts, and by and large, the action in the movie is well done. It goes from like Winter Soldier I love because it's more personal, because it's just Cap and Winter Soldier fighting, whereas this has big group fights. But I think that as far as like it outdoes Winter Soldier as far as like crazy, just like amazing action sequences that still feel the Russo brothers have a way of doing this where they shoot it very matter of factly. Like they have really cool shit that happens, but they don't dwell on it. And that's one of the cool things that they do. It's like especially like Winter Soldier where they have that fight in after the cause, like in that big old action scene with like Cap, Falcon, Black Widow, and Winter Soldier in Captain America Winter Soldier, where it's the Causeway fight scene where he's fighting where Cap's fighting Winter Soldier with a knife. They do that, like those weird knife flip things, those really fucking cool knife flips. They never like make it cool. Like they don't like slow down on it, like put like a slow motion on there to be like, yo, look at what we just did. They're like, oh, fuck it, dude. It's just cool, but like we're gonna keep going. Like it's very matter of fact, and I love the way that they do that. I just think that's awesome. And they do like dwell on a couple things, but it's only like things like in the final fight when it's the repulsors against Cap's shield. Where it's like, that's a shot out of the comics. You guys gotta look at this. Like look at this. Like, it looks so cool. And it's like, they do it like once or twice. They don't do it too much. Anything involving Black Panther. Black Panther has a awesome fight with Winter Soldier on a rooftop. Which has been glimpsed at in the trailer. I spoiled a lot of shit, and that's what am I talking about. They have a giant, this cool fight scene, and they don't make it, like, there's a lot of cool choreography, but they don't make it. They don't like to put like a lot of obnoxious slow motion in there. They don't dwell on the things. They just let it happen and they show you what's going on. They don't do like crazy fucking slow motion and speed up and zoom in and shaky. It's like you can see everything that's going on, and it's just cool. And that's the kind of action choreography I just fucking love. It's the same kind of thing with Daredevil. They don't put obnoxious, like they do sometimes put slow motion in Daredevil, but like they don't make it obnoxious. Overall though, like yeah, this is obviously the best comic book movie of the year so far. It's Captain America: Civil War, Deadpool, Batman versus Superman. It's it's terrible because Captain America: Civil War is exactly what Batman versus Superman should have been. And I don't want to compare too much because I don't like comparing movies very much, but it's kind of hard not to for this one because they do the thing. They have multiple scenes where they're talking in this movie about their ideas and about their ideology and how they see the world. And while I don't agree with the Iron Man, they have the conversation and they have good points. They both have good points. So when they fight, while both ideologies have been laid out for everybody to understand and to get behind and really just invest themselves in, when you get to a point where they start fighting, and especially towards the end of the movie when they have the final Captain America versus Iron Man fight scene, it gets to be very emotional. And you're invested in the movie because you understand where the side is coming from, where each side is coming from. Whereas in Batman versus Superman, one's fighting, one of their character motivations is very laid out and very, very understandable. That's Batman's. And there's Superman, who has a way of looking at it being formed, and then instead of actually exploring the theme that he's looking at, just have Lex Luthor take his mother instead. Whatever, you know. They lay out character motivations in this movie so well. And it's such a deep movie. In comparison to most comic book movies, it's not a fluffy movie. This isn't a popcorn movie. While, yes, it has very entertaining action scenes, great quips, all that stuff. It's got all the comic book stuff that you think of a popcorn comic book action flick. But it's a deep movie. It's got deep themes. It's got ideologies. It's got something to say. And it's got performances that are remarkable. So, yeah, you could dismiss this as just another comic book movie, but you'd be just giving a complete disservice to this movie because this movie is a very thought-provoking movie. It's what Batman versus Superman should have been. And it's something that if you have not seen it, I mean, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? No, but seriously, it's a movie you should see, especially on a big fucking screen. See it on the biggest screen you possibly can. Especially for that giant airport fight scene. It's just remarkable. So yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm going on. This video is already way longer than I wanted it to be. And I think I've said all I need to say about the movie. I think it's fantastic. It's interchangeable with Winter Soldier as my second favorite comic book movie ever made. I finally figured it out. It's just remarkable. It's remarkable. It lives up to the hype. It's definitely worth seeing on the biggest screen you possibly can, as many times as you possibly can. So I mean, I'm gonna give it a rating. I wasn't going to just because this is very, very, very terribly structured, but yeah, this is definitely a it's an A, but it's weird because like I have Captain America: Winter Soldier as my number 2, but it's like a 9.5-ish. If I'm gonna go out of 10, it's like a 9.5. Civil War is like a 9.6. But like even said like that, you can just like flip them. So it's like they're both an A, but they're really close. They're really close. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Civil War. I really would like to know what people think about this movie. I'm fairly sure I know what most people think about this movie, but I would really like to know what you guys think. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Talk down in the comments. I'm super interested because there's like, I want to know who's Team Iron Man. I want to know why you're Team Iron Man. Now, I'm not gonna like condemn you for being Team Iron Man. Maybe I just missed something. So I'm not gonna like say you're wrong. I personally don't understand it. So make me understand. Help me understand. I need to know why people can support Iron Man. I just need to know. But yeah, so yeah, comment below. Let me know what's going on, what you guys think, and I'm gonna go. So stay nerdy, guys.